ABC Kinderteach presents Alfred's Book of Monsters, written by Sam Streed. The Nixie, a mermaid or merman who lives in rivers, soaks at the bottom of the stream beneath ancient, or very old, slime and pitch black, very black, mud. Her skin is as cold as the water that flows over her, and her icy tendrils, very skinny legs or arms, of hair are the growth of 100 years. And that's the Nixie. And it lives in the mud. Of course, it's not real, it's just pretend. Whoa! So Alfred's excited about reading about these pretend monsters.
Alfred, quit reading that dreadful
or terrible
book. It is tea time.
That's a time in the afternoon when people take a break and drink tea. Alfred hated tea time. It's perfectly delightful, he said. Alfred didn't enjoy delightful things, so he did not like things that were pleasant. He wanted things that were terrible because he's just a little boy. Still, he went to have tea with his auntie. He does not look happy about it. The next day, Alfred was once again locked away in his study. That's a room where you read and or do work. He read more about the monsters that lurked, hid and waited for others, in the shadows of his little town. So he's looking at the book and he's thinking that there are monsters in his town. Not really, but it's just a story. In the graveyard, cemetery or place where people are buried, between stone monuments, a stone monument might look like this, to forgotten souls, forgotten people, lurks the black shuck, a black ghost dog. Its footfalls, sound of its walking, make no sound. Its cry cuts through the silence of the night. Its one blood-red eye burns with an undying rage, which means it's always very mad. And here it has just one eye. And there it says R.I.P. just means rest in peace. Whoa.
Alfred, tea time.
So he's excited about that, but then Auntie calls him for tea again, which is delightful, but he does not like delightful. It was delightful or wonderful. As always, Alfred complained to Annie that he didn't want delightful things. He wanted terrible monsters.
I want monsters.
To Alfred's dismay, he was not happy about, Auntie didn't approve.
Monsters are terrible, she said. Polite young boys do not hate tea parties, and they certainly do not want monsters.
The next day, Alfred was back to reading his favorite book. I wonder what's going to happen next. He doesn't like tea time because it is a pleasant, wonderful time. He wants it to be a terrible time, so what's he going to do? In the darkest and most secret corners and closets of the church lives the Lantern Man, a spirit whose light shreds the dark of the night. The flame he carries is the light of 1,000 stolen souls. So that's supposed to be the Lantern Man. Whoa, that's it. I must see them for myself. He must see the monsters? So Alfred got to work. There's some envelopes. He seems to be writing a letter to the monsters, maybe? Of course, this is just pretend. So he runs out with 3 letters. It looks like one is for the Nixie, who lives in the mud. One is for the Black Shuck, which lives in this cemetery. And this one must be for the Lantern Man. For once, Alfred was excited for tea time. Oh, did he invite these pretend monsters to tea time? At last, from the darkening night came 3 fearsome knocks, one for each of those monsters. And they all had a terrible time, which he was happy about, Auntie not so much. I hope everything turned out okay. Oh, looks like they're all tired and maybe left. And Auntie says, "Wow!" which means that was quite an adventure, and he's back to reading his book.